The blizzard had turned the Alaskan wilderness into a white nightmare. Wind screamed through the mountains at 80 miles per hour. Visibility was zero, and the temperature had dropped to 30 below. Inside the emergency shelter at Elmendorf Air Force Base, 12 Navy SEALs sat in grim silence, staring at the radio that had gone dead 18 hours ago. The last transmission had been brief, broken by static. Taking fire, pinned down, then nothing. Lieutenant Maya Chen had been on a solo reconnaissance mission, tracking a group of armed militants who'd crossed into U.S. territory from Canada. It was supposed to be a 48-hour observe, report, extract. But the storm had hit early, communications had failed, and now the rescue teams were grounded. Nothing could fly in this weather. Nothing could survive out there. "She's gone," whispered Petty Officer Rodriguez, his voice hollow. "Nobody makes it through a night in this. Nobody." The others nodded, their faces reflecting the same brutal calculation. Maya was tough, maybe the toughest operator in their unit, but she was still human. Even SEALs had limits, and the Alaskan wilderness in a blizzard was beyond anyone's limit. Commander James Hayes sat apart from the group, his jaw clenched so tight it ached. He'd authorized the mission. He'd sent her out there alone. If she was dead, that blood was on his hands. But what none of them knew, what they couldn't possibly imagine, was that Maya Chen wasn't dead. She was walking through that storm like a ghost, using skills learned from a childhood spent surviving things worse than weather. And when she walked through those doors, she would remind every person in that room why you never, ever count out a fighter who refuses to die. If you think survival is about strength alone, you're wrong. Because what kept Maya alive in that frozen hell wasn't muscle or training, it was something far more powerful. The mission had gone wrong fast. Maya had located the militants, but they'd spotted her thermal signature. The firefight lasted 7 minutes. She'd taken down 3 before a ricochet shattered her radio, and the storm engulfed everything. By the time she'd eliminated the threat, she was 20 miles from base with no communication, no extraction, and weather that could kill in minutes. Most people would have panicked. Maya got methodical. She'd grown up homeless in Chicago, sleeping in shelters, learning to survive in places where comfort was a luxury and warmth was earned. Her childhood had been boot camp before she ever enlisted. The cold was an old enemy, and she knew its tricks. She found a ravine, dug a snow cave with her hands and a combat knife, insulated it with pine branches. She'd rationed her supplies, melted snow for water, kept moving every hour to maintain circulation. When her core temperature dropped dangerously low, she didn't fight the shivering, she used it, letting her body generate heat while conserving energy. 18 hours. That's how long she survived in conditions that should have killed her in 3. Think about this for a moment. How many times have you faced something impossible and given up before you even tried? How many times have you let fear convince you that survival wasn't an option? Maya chose differently. She chose to fight every single second, even when hope seemed lost. The storm began to break at dawn. Maya emerged from her shelter, oriented herself by the stars barely visible through thinning clouds, and started walking. Her fingers were numb. Her face felt frozen. Every step was agony. But she kept moving, because stopping meant dying, and dying wasn't acceptable. At the base, Hayes was writing the notification letter. The words blurred on the page. It is with deep regret he couldn't finish it. Rodriguez stood at the window, staring into the white void. We should have gone after her, he said quietly. In that storm, we'd all be dead, another SEAL replied. But the guilt hung thick in the air. Then Rodriguez froze. Movement. 2 o'clock. Everyone rushed to the windows. Through the thinning snow, a figure emerged, walking slowly but steadily, head up, rifle slung across her back. As she got closer, they could see the ice crusted on her gear, the way she favored her left side, the determined set of her jaw. Maya Chen, walking out of a storm that should have been her grave. The doors burst open. Hayes reached her first as she stumbled across the threshold. Chen, medical, now. Maya waved him off, her voice hoarse but strong. I'm fine, Commander. Cold, tired, but fine. Militants are neutralized. Mission complete. She pulled a data card from her vest. Got everything you need here. The room erupted. SEALs surrounded her, checking her over, bringing blankets, hot coffee, their faces showing something between relief and awe. Rodriguez couldn't stop shaking his head. How? How did you survive that? Maya's cracked lips formed a small smile. You survive because quitting isn't an option. You survive because every breath is a choice to keep fighting. I learned that long before I earned this trident. She touched the SEAL insignia on her chest. Childhood taught me hunger, cold, and hopelessness. The Navy taught me to weaponize those lessons. That storm was bad, but I've survived worse. Hayes pulled her aside later, after medical had cleared her. We thought we lost you. I know, Maya said simply, but you taught me something in selection. Commander, remember? The only easy day was yesterday. Every day is hard. Every mission is impossible until it's done. I just refused to let impossible win. Word of Maya's survival spread through the special operations community like wildfire. Not just because she'd survived impossible conditions, but because of what she'd done while surviving. She'd completed her mission. The intelligence she'd gathered prevented a major terrorist attack. 3 months later, she received the Navy Cross for her actions that night. This story isn't just about physical survival. It's about mental resilience, about refusing to accept defeat even when defeat seems certain. Maya could have stayed in that snow cave, conserved energy, waited for rescue that might never come. Instead, she saved herself. Right now, someone is in their own storm. Maybe it's not weather, maybe it's grief, loss, failure, or fear, and they're convinced they can't survive it. They're hearing whispers that they're done, that it's over, that there's no way forward. Share this story with them. Let them know that storms end. That impossible is just another word for not yet conquered. That the people who survive aren't always the strongest or the best equipped. They're simply the ones who refuse to stop fighting. Maya walked out of that blizzard not because she was superhuman, but because she was human in the most powerful way possible. She chose life over surrender, action over despair, hope over acceptance. You have that same choice. Every single day, you have that choice. What will you choose?